Alright, let's talk about another Russian movie. This is The Key. So, this movie focuses on this grandpa who has, he has a newborn grandson whose parents apparently want to raise him to live happy, basically. The mom's kind of unpleasant. She henpecks her husband constantly. The husband's, basically he's a doormat in the figurative sense. But yeah, they want to raise their son to be happy, so they have these three fairies come over and who gives the kid a ball of yarn that will, if he performs this ritual, it'll lead him to this magical land of happiness. And they also cast a spell on him to make him age by the hour as opposed to by the day. So, like, every hour that goes by is, he gets a day older. So, having his life pass by faster, that's a sure way to make someone happy. Yeah, I mean, I'm pushing 30, and yeah, I'd kill to push back a couple years. So yeah, the grandpa tries to, like, give the kid these tools as a present, but he's intending that he grows up to be a worker, but the parents wouldn't have that, and they have the fairies like put the grandpa into this poster that kind of looks like a Vladimir Lenin poster. I do wonder how much of this how much of the moral of this might have been, kind of a metaphor for, like, communism, because I think Russia was, like, kind of climbing out of, they were kind of recovering from their era being ruled by Stalin. I don't know a whole lot about the history of this. I mean, if you've seen my new Gulliver review or my vlog on Animal Farm. But yeah. So yeah, pretty much the message of the movie is true happiness can't be achieved if it's just handed to you. And yeah, it's a pretty legit message. I can definitely get behind it. Although I do kinda have some mixed emotions about how they execute this message. In order to save the boy from an eternity of, from going to this land where happiness is just handed to him, he sees this scientist who builds all these robots, and the scientist manages to make a duplicate of the ball of yarn because he finds pieces of it still on the grandpa's hands. So yeah, they make a duplicate of the yarn, and then the grandpa uses the yarn to go to the land of happiness. He basically sees what they do there, and it's kind of an amusing scene. I do kind of like the fairy that's kind of giving him the tour. She's like your typical grumpy receptionist. She's not really a receptionist, but, like, I do like the sass she has. And yeah, it's it's kind of an imaginative scene. Although, yeah, I certainly can't imagine being truly happy if I just have my, you know, if my life is basically just rapidly going through all these happy moments and then just dying. That's kind of one issue I have with the way they handle the message. It seems like there's not enough of, a case for, what they're arguing against. They kind of straw man it, if you will. I mean, yeah, I think about living in this land of happiness, and it just sounds kind of depressing. So yeah, after the grandpa manages to escape the place, he he sees the kid who's now, he's now older. He's not a baby anymore. He's like probably like 5 years old or something, and he's a spoiled brat. The parents just spoiled him. That seems to be a pattern we're running into at these Russian movies, specifically the ones that have like child protagonists. All of them like start out as like unpleasant little brats, and then they learn humility over the course of the movie. The grandpa manages to basically, the scientist gives the grandpa this lock that he can put on the door to the land of happiness, and they pull a little coup, if you will. Put the lock on there, and then the kid can't get in. The fairy tells him to go to this other land where it's called like the land of like easy feats and some victories or something like that. The kid goes to this world, and the place is guarded by this four-headed dragon, and he asks the dragon if he can go in, and at first it looks like the dragon just simply moves over. Like, I thought it was going to be like one of those jokes where it's like, can I, like, they seem like pretty stubborn, but then the person's like, can I come in? And they're like, okay. That probably would have been a little ahead of its time, though. I don't know if they were doing jokes like that yet. But there was still a pretty funny joke where the dragon's like, all the dragon heads are having this drawn-out discussion about whether or not they should let the kid in. It's like this serious debate, and they just can't decide. So yeah, it's a pretty funny scene. This movie's not without a couple laughs. And the kid goes in and he performs all these easy tasks that are like specifically told to him by this flying megaphone thingy. So yeah, he easily accomplishes the tasks, and then he does the tasks in order to get this key so he can unlock the lock on the world of happiness, but the key doesn't work, and yeah, the kid's locked out, so he has to find, he goes to his grandpa, who's a carpenter, and he teaches him how to make a key, and the kid like struggles to learn how to make the key. There's a bit of this you see him like getting, the grandpa's tools have a mind of their own, so when the kid like holds them wrong, they bite him, so that's, yeah, I don't know what to think of that. What else? So yeah, the kid, after numerous tries, he finally makes a key, and he's ready to go and enter the land of happiness, and then but then there's this incident with the professor's robots. Like, there's this one robot of his that wants to become a poet. He built him as like a poet. He wants to go out and become a professional poet, and then he meets this guy at a bar, and they get drunk, and yeah, that's another pretty funny scene where the robot and the guy get drunk. But yeah, the poet robot comes back, and he and basically strikes this cute little robot kid character, which is kind of weird. Like when he hits her over the head, she just like breaks. But we see her get hit by like a bigger robot earlier, so and that the hit from the poet robot didn't seem any harder than that one. So it's kind of weird seeing that that's what messes her up. But yeah, then the professor wants her to, she's broken, so he wants her to get fixed. So he takes her to, the old man. He doesn't quite know what to do. And then the kid comes back, and apparently he can fix the robot. I forget the exact details, but I don't know. I guess maybe teamwork or something. So, they fix the robot, and then the parents come in, and, they have to tell them the moral of the story, basically, and, yeah. I think it's a good moral. But yeah, I think what kind of bugs me is that, like, there's this air of being told what you should do. I mean, like, I value, working, I definitely value working to, achieve your dreams. I don't think there was much of the achieving your dreams part of that, though. Kind of felt like they just... Basically, the message just seemed to be more, get a job, and, so yeah, I don't know. I'm a little conflicted, but, I can't fully analyze the message here, and, I get the basic gist of it, though, and yeah, I respect it. But yeah, there's still, like, it's still kind of like a part one to a full message, like, to achieve the dream you want to achieve, you have to, like, really work on it. And yeah, it's definitely a message I can relate to. And yeah, I've spent a lot longer, many years of my life, kind of struggling through the work I have to do in order to achieve my goals. And yeah, even today, I'm not exactly doing the things I've been wanting to do for so long. I mean, being able to review these animated movies, it's definitely something I've been interested in, but, it's definitely not my end goal. I do have other ideas that I've always wanted to do. But yeah, I gotta keep working on it, and I think the main thing that holds me back is that I'm kind of afraid to take that big step forward. But I think right now the only thing that's really holding me back is, various circumstances, but anyway, more about this movie. I do think there's some very creative character designs, and I do really like all the stuff related to, like, the professor's laboratory. I like all his robots, specifically like the two main ones, the poet and the cute little robot girl thing. And yeah, again, the Land of Happiness was imaginatively foreboding, or there is kind of a depressing side to this happy world. I do think this is a very imaginative movie. And yeah, I think I can get behind the message for the most part. I just kind of feel like they're, well, due to the time period, I kind of wonder if part of it is that they're trying to, like, pick up the remaining fragments of the whole communist movement, and I don't know. I think it's mainly because of the tools that the grandpa had. Some of them, some of them remind me of the Soviet flag. So I do wonder if that's kind of what they had in mind with the message. I don't know. But otherwise, there is a good message in there, and it's definitely worth discussing, and yeah, there's something in there that I can relate myself as well. So, yeah, I thought it was a pretty good movie. Definitely wouldn't call it perfect, but yeah, I enjoyed it. Yeah, I think 7 out of 10 sounds about right. And yeah, if anything I've talked about sounds interesting, definitely give it a watch. It's free to watch on YouTube. Just look it up. The Key, 1961. So yeah, that's about it. If there's anything else I feel I need to talk about, because there is quite a bit to talk about regarding this movie, as usual, I'll bring it up in the comments. So yeah, that's about it. Mash it and smash it, signing off.